All right, guys, so we're now gonna dive into the first three of those principles of programming, which are couplets and triplets, go long, and interval. So when we talk about couplets and triplets, these are the things, again, this is where the magic of our sport was originally written. All the original CrossFit programming benchmarks were largely couplets and triplets. Diane, Fran, Helen, Kelly, all of these workouts, really, really good couplets and triplets. What they do, they allow us to drive horsepower really, really nicely when written correctly. They also can be extremely cyclical. So what we mean with cyclical, and this is important because this is what we want to try and drive our athletes to do in every workout. So a cyclically done workout simply means that the athlete spends as little time as possible not moving and not making progress in the workout. So we want to write workouts and then write stimulus behind it that allows the athletes to continuously move forward in the workout. So these couplets and triplets, when written properly, can really allow for that to happen. Low interference. So couplets and triplets want to be written as low interference the majority of the time. Low interference means we have movements that complement each other. So it's not like we're gonna do thrusters, handstand push-ups, and rowing in a workout. The thrusters and the handstand push-ups would be extremely high interference, which would hurt our ability to keep this workout cyclical and would hurt our ability to drive horsepower throughout the course of the workout, which is why you see in a lot of the workouts, you have very complementary movement patterns. Diane, deadlifts and handstand push-ups, push-pull. Fran, thrusters, pull-ups, push-pull. You have very complementary movements. So we use those workouts as examples of good complementary movement workouts that are low interference. So again, when you look at a lot of the old open workouts and benchmark workouts, that's where you're gonna see these couplets and triplets really shine in what they can do. And it's no secret that that's the magic that helped drive the CrossFit methodology to be what it is today. Go long. It's very easy for us as CrossFit athletes to fall in the trap of 9 to 18 minute workouts, thinking that a 20-minute workout is a really, really long workout, when in reality, if we look at any other endurance sport, 20 minutes is not a very long time at all. So we want to make sure that we can go long on some of these workouts. So a couple examples, Kelly and Eva are two workouts that can really kind of push that time domain out there, because it's really important if we're training athletes to be generally physically prepared, GPP, ready for anything that can come at them and allow them to be able to tackle anything in life. We need to go long and not just sit in our comfortable bubble of the 12 to 13 minute workout. So we have to go long every once in a while in order to fill that gap. And we want to do that one time a week for our workouts. For our intervals, so intervals are arguably the most potent type of workout that we can write. The reason is we get rest periods in between our interval sets. This allows us to drive intensity. Intensity is the shortcut to results. ... There's a kicker to that. Because they are so potent, if we do them all the time or we do them too often, it could potentially lead to a bunch of negative side effects. If you ride too close to the sun, you could potentially put someone at risk of injury. You could potentially have someone risk burnout. You could potentially have someone just be fatigued all the time. And it's not just body fatigue, mental fatigue. The intervals take a lot of brain power and mental fortitude to get up and do them at the proper intensity every day. So while intervals and intensity is the shortcut to results, we always, always, always want to make sure that we're dosing them properly, so that way we are not having the opposite effect on our members. So that's why we found intervals once per week as a really, really, really nice spot to allow us to drive that intensity, but not put our members in the dirt, because again, we're looking at all of this through the lens of compliance. If our members and our athletes are hurt, burnt out, or just tired and don't have the juice to want to come to the gym every day, we're doing them the disservice regardless how effective the intervals can be at driving adaptations. We want to make sure we are driving compliance as our number one motivating factor. So again, couplets and triplets, horsepower driven, they can be cyclical. The majority of the time, low interference to allow the workouts to be cyclical. The majority of like open workouts and benchmark, the early girl workouts, all follow those rules. Go long. One other thing I completely forgot to mention, CrossFit history. When the CrossFit Games had their long triathlon in California, 2014, 2015, everyone remembers Spiel during the run portion, for lack of a better word, falling apart. One of the fittest humans in our sport the world has ever seen falling apart. The reason is, it's likely that he didn't train long. It was something that he had in his tank and was probably bringing up weaknesses and was just unable to go long for that event. So that's another reason why we don't want to leave any gaps in our training, so that way we're ready to take on everything. And again, lastly, those intervals, while as potent and effective as they can be, we want to resist the temptation of putting them in too much, because we don't want to have injury, burnout, fatigue, because again, compliance is our number one driving motivator here. So for the first three guys, couplets and triplets, go long once a week, intervals once a week. Let's keep going.